Just bear with me in a minute for a moment. All right, I think I'm live on YouTube and Instagram. So today I wanted to talk about solving mental illness, okay? So I think a lot of people in our society struggle with this. It's happening more and more. Younger kids are struggling with symptoms deemed mental, and there's a lot of confusion. I know when I got sick, there was a lot of confusion. There weren't really answers. And, you know, we go searching out there. We search, we go to different doctors. We try different diet trends. We read different books. And it's just a really scary thing to go through. Not really knowing why it's happening, kind of feeling blamed for it, being told it's in your mind or it's your genes, or people thinking there's something flawed with your character. And it's really a devastating thing to go through, especially for younger people. It's really hard when you don't have that, you know, those years of experience in life of having stability, of having success. And for those of you who don't know, I got sick right out of college. So in my early 20s, hadn't really started out my life, hadn't started my career yet, and you know, really my adult life living independently, and got really sick, and ended up for over a decade struggling with depression, anxiety, psychosis symptoms. And, you know, is it solvable? That was one of the fears that I had. The deepest fears that I had was I going to be like this forever? You know, is it solvable? Am I going to have a chance at living a life, having a family, having a home, having a career, having hobbies, taking vacations, being able to live my life like other people? And that was the scariest thing for me. Thankfully now, there are examples, such as myself, of people healing from mental illness symptoms. So, you know, if you're finding this video right now, there is hope. There are testimonials of people healing, and there is a way out of it. But in order to solve the mental illness crisis in our society and individually, really it has to be solved at an individual level. Each of us has to choose to take the steps to follow the right answers to heal. And no one I've found in my experience, no one can really make that choice for us. So that was one of the most important things for my healing journey, was taking ownership of myself, responsibility for myself, and using my free will to choose to follow information to heal. So for over a decade of searching and trying different things, if you know me, if you know my channel, then you'll know that the information that I found was, you know, is the medical medium information. And I've been implementing that information for 9.5 years now, and I've been medication free and healed and functioning. So, and the reason, first of all, that's the only information that gave an answer. So I'd searched in the past and was never really told why it was happening. It was just kind of, we have some theories, different doctors have some theories, but I never really was given a clear answer. So right away, when I first discovered the medical medium information back in 2015, the first thing I noticed was, aside from the authenticity and the power and the life in the words, because they're living words from above, if you don't know the medical medium information, but was just being shocked to have found an answer after all those years searching. So that's the information I follow. And in order to solve the mental illness crisis, you have to know what's causing it. That's critical. There's a lot of factors at play in mental illness. There's financial factors, there's relationship factors, there's technology factors. You know, people could say the mental illness crisis is happening because of all the, kids are growing up on smartphones and on social media and all this and that. But why does one person have mental illness symptoms and another person doesn't? Why are some people able to function in their life, other people aren't? And, both of them are using technology. Both of them are living in the same society, exposed to similar things. Why are some people, struggling in poverty, but they still don't have mental illness symptoms? And then you can have another person who does have mental illness symptoms, or you could have someone who's wealthy who has mental illness symptoms. So it's easy to say, oh, these factors are at play, these factors at play, without really understanding the root cause, what's actually causing the symptoms. And in order to heal, we need to know the cause. We have to know the cause. And the medical community information provides that cause. It's the only source of information that told us that toxic heavy metals plays a role in mental illness symptoms. So that's really important. I've heard things about that out in alternative trends. You'll hear different things, but that comes back to the original source for over, I don't know how many decades at this point. I don't want to age Anthony William, the messenger of the medical community information, but many decades at this point, he's been teaching this information to practitioners and lecturing. And since the books came out in 2015, it's reached a widespread audience. But toxic heavy metals play a role, and we have to know how to safely take the toxic heavy metals out of our body, which the medical community information has protocols to do that. But I found it's really important to have a routine with mental illness symptoms. It's very important to have some type of stability in your life, because depending on how severe the symptoms are, when it's really severe, like I had it, and you don't have the ability to maintain regular work, and you don't have stable housing situation and relationships, you don't have stable relationships in your life, consistent relationships, it feels like kind of floating out at sea, like just being lost at sea, bouncing around, like floating out in space. And like, it's hard mentally to have a understanding of how to function in your life when you're in that state, in a really bad, like with psychosis, for example. So to me, having a regular routine has been critical to healing from mental illness with the medical community information. And I've used the medical community morning cleanse from the very beginning, from 9.5 years ago. Every morning, the lemon water, celery juice, heavy metal detox smoothie as my foundation. When I wake up in the morning, I've been doing that every morning for 9.5 years. And that's part of my foundation. I follow the protocols and the food principles, taking out the no foods, taking some of the supplements. So I've used the medical medium guidelines as the foundation for my health as part of my daily routine. And that's been critical for rebuilding my life and being able to maintain functioning at work, and then start to heal the trauma, improving relationships, and just building life. Because mental illness it affects all areas of our life. And like I said, it's absolutely a devastating thing to go through. It's so traumatic. It's I still sometimes have a hard time thinking back to some of the things I went through. So if anyone's struggling out there, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. One of the beautiful things about finding this information is you learn that it's not your fault. You're not actually causing it. There's not some inherent flaw in you, or you're just like faulty. Your body was just made faulty, or something's wrong with your mind or something. It's not that. And you learn it's not your fault, and then you can kind of have some validation and and like have that knowing that it's not you, and that there is some external invader, which is the toxic heavy metals that get into our bodies, or the viruses that contribute to depression, anxiety as well. So when it's a foreign invader, it's toxins and pathogens causing the symptoms, and it's not you, that kind of strengthens your spirit. And there's something about, knowing that you're a good person and that you're not causing these problems that kind of gives you the strength to keep fighting and to, kind of feel better about yourself, because it's so hard. We get gaslit with mental illness. We get blamed. We're basically disempowered. And the medical community information, by telling us what's actually causing the symptoms, empowers us to regain that freedom back. And I felt so powerless those years that I was sick, and I really have been able to regain that freedom and to feel like I could live my life again, like a human being, and not be a slave to the illness and be completely powerless. So, I know people are struggling out there. Even when you find the medical community information, it does take time. It could take a number of years, depending on how sick you were. And there are, like Anthony says, the healing journey is 3 steps up, 2 steps back. So there are setbacks that we experience throughout life. There are periods of time where we're doing a little better, periods of time where we're doing a little worse. The important thing is to just consistently apply it every day. I do everything I can every day to implement the tools that with the healing foods and the supplements, listening to meditations on the podcast, reading the books. I also pray to the angels. I read the Bible every day. That's part of my daily routine for years now. Is every night I read a couple chapters in the Bible before bed, say my prayers, and just having that consistency is so important. And we have to know that we're going to heal. We have a God-given right to heal. We have to keep that knowing in us. Even when we feel like we're losing faith, we have to know that it's our God-given right, and it's going to happen eventually, no matter how, if you apply yourself every day, year after year, it's inevitable. It's inevitable that you're going to heal. We just have to keep getting those trace minerals in us, into our liver and our brain, to provide the electrolytes and the neurotransmitter chemicals that our body needs. We have to keep getting that healthy glucose in us. We have to keep getting those antiviral herbs in us. And it's like it's a numbers game, right? We just have to, how much of the healthy stuff are we getting in us, and how much of the bad stuff are we getting out of us, detoxing out of us? How much of the heavy metals are coming out, and how much of the nutrients are coming in? And it's just a numbers game. It's just like, I basically just threw the kitchen sink at it every day, everything I possibly could, every single day. And it pays off. Each year you feel stronger and stronger. So I guess the overall message I'm trying to say here is that healing is possible. To solve mental illness, we have to know what's causing it. We have to know the right information to take steps to heal. And it does take time to rehabilitate, in a sense. It takes time to give the body what it needs, train yourself on what it feels like to have stability in your life. Because I know I was in like a trauma state for so long that we're almost stuck in that state, and it's hard sometimes to get out of it. And it takes time to give ourselves an experience of stability and an experience of regularity, and start to heal that trauma and actually start to regain some of that confidence back and that self-worth that, we lost when we thought we were to blame. But now that we know we're not to blame, we can regain some of that self-worth and that knowledge that we're a good person, and we can heal. So I truly believe that if you're struggling with these types of symptoms, that there's something special in you, and that God made you for what you're going through. And the reason I say that is because I didn't think I had what it took to get through it. People told me that in the past, like, oh, God wouldn't give you something unless you're strong enough to handle it. I've heard that in the past, and I didn't feel strong enough to handle it, and I doubted that. But somehow I got through, right? And I feel like God created us to get through whatever purpose he has for us. I feel like I was created to survive schizoaffective disorder, whatever qualities I have in me, whatever stubbornness or, scrappiness, whatever I had in me to survive it, God made me to survive it. And I feel the same thing about you guys. If you're struggling with a symptom, God made you to survive it. He put some type of strength in you, some special thing in you that can overcome it. And you can, and when you have the right information. So it's really the medical medium information is critical. The links, there's some links in the description or in my profile to the medical medium books and to my eBooks. I have free eBooks describing how I healed. But now that you found the information, or if you've already been aware of the information, it does work. It just has to be applied consistently over time, long enough. And we have to develop a type of routine and a type of support structure in our life. And that can take time to develop. We can get the healing foods in us, but when we also need to be able to somehow survive financially. We also have to somehow survive with the people we have to interact with in our life. Like I have to interact with people at work. It's not always easy for me. So I had to kind of learn how to deal with people that are difficult or that I find difficult sometimes. So it's like there's a learning curve to it. And I always try to, I stick with the foundation of the true principles that I find in the medical medium information and in the Bible. That's the only source of truth that I recognize is the living word of God in the medical medium books and in the Bible. And that's the only thing I consider to be pure truth. Those words will be here long after I'm gone, long after everyone I know is gone. Those words will still be here. And then anything beyond that, I try to just humble myself and learn. I reflect, I observe, if I have an interaction with a coworker, I reflect, what could I do better? How am I being fair in this situation? How can I handle this that's functional, that's, that is productive? So I'm always trying to learn every day, but I always come back to those core principles in the medical medium books and in the Bible, and I study them every day, and it's worked. It's if how do you know something's the truth is because when you apply it, it works. It's the only thing left standing at the end. It's the only thing. I tried many different health trends. I tried many different spiritual ideologies, and I eventually came to the source of information that isn't man-made, that comes from above, and it's everlasting information, and it works in any situation. It lasts basically. So you want to rebuild your life on information that is timeless and not man-made, and the medical medium information is that. It's not man-made health trends. It's not some guy saying, "Oh, I think your gut microbiome is why you're mentally ill," which has nothing to do with mental illness. It's not just people coming up with ideas to try to help people, which is great. But when you're really sick, you need real information. So that's the only information I trust at this point, and it's the only information I study and the only information I think about. So yeah, just keep fighting the good fight. I know it's difficult. I know this society isn't always easy. I know it's difficult to meet our financial needs. It's difficult. It really is for a lot of people. And I understand that. And we just have to keep at it every day, know that God created us for a purpose, and do whatever we can every day, and just be easy on ourselves. I have to remember sometimes to be easy on myself. Get hard on myself sometimes, but we have to have compassion for ourselves and have that compassion for others, and it matters. So the healing, when we heal our symptoms, when we work on healing our symptoms, that's changing the world right there. That's making a difference. We're developing that compassion, so we understand if we come across, we might meet another person someday who's struggling. we understand that suffering that they're going through, so we can give an encouraging word, or we can be there for someone someday. It matters. It makes a difference. Those little things really do make a difference. So you can heal. Mental illness is not your fault. They're real causes, and I'm excited. I've been excited since the day I found the medical meeting information. I'm excited for you guys, whether you're just first discovering it or you've been implementing it for a number of years. It's wonderful to heal it after being told for so many years it wasn't possible. After being told I would have it for life, I would be on medication for life. It's just wonderful to be free from that, because it was such a miserable place to be in. It's wonderful to be free from that, and just to feel like connected to God again, and to feel purpose, and just hope, and all the wonderful things that we're meant to experience, that our God-given right here on earth, to be healthy, to be free. So happy healing. God bless you. I wish you well.